what I've found in my years of learning is that learning has different steps. And one of the steps is acquiring information. And another step is comprehending and digesting that information and then putting it back out there in a form that you create. And that can be, in my classes, it's going to be a writing assignment. In a performing arts class or a music class or any form of art class, it might be, it'll be a piece of art. But whether it's a piece of art or it's a paper, in order to produce something yourself, you have to reflect and you have to understand something new, and you have to want to give your own spin to it in a way that is in some way comprehensible to somebody else. And so the writing requirement is our campus's way, I think, of acknowledging that the biggest step of learning, the most important step that happens in learning, is when you take the information that you've acquired, and whether it's information like for a research paper in the social sciences, or information from an experiment in a lab, or information from the process of learning about creation of art, and you take it in and then you put something else back out that incorporates what you've taken in, that information, the lab experiment results, or the artistic experience, and it's shaped in a new way by you. And so the writing requirement is the way that we actually take the information and take our biggest learning step. It's for many people, it's the hardest thing to do, and it's hard for a reason. It's legitimate. I always tell my students, yes, this is hard. It's hard for me too when I write. It's much easier to read what someone else wrote, and to even just to think about what they wrote or to talk about it with other people. But when you have to write, you have to have something to say, and then you have to really think. And that's when you make connections. And the deepest connections happen when you do that creative process, whether it's writing a paper or doing an improvisation or creating a sculpture. That's when you grow, and growing is hard. So I think that our campus has made the right decision, from the get-go, that we distinguish ourselves from other campuses by saying we recognize explicitly that step is the most important step. We're going to make sure it happens in every class.